Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. How was everybody? Russell, Juicy, Gary, Gabriel over in YouTube. Welcome. It is a lovely day here in Wisconsin. 36 degrees, I think, today. Still without car. I have left them a message. We shall see. YouTube land. All right. Let's see. What's cooking? In the world of pens, there will be a special announcement tomorrow. 64 degrees there. Oh my goodness. We've lost almost all of our almost all of our snow, so it's made it inconvenient because as it melts down, it ices up overnight and whatever. But it melts a little bit more each day, so that makes it okay. I'm okay with the winter when it does that. You know, it snows and then it gets warmer, and then it melts down, and then it snows, and then keeps doing that. But anyway, there's a new pen announcement tomorrow. So if you are not on our mailing list, sign up. I believe bottom of any page or bottom of the home page of the website, you can sign up for the newsletter. We send one out every Tuesday. If you don't open it, I send it to you again on Friday, but that's the extent of it. Tomorrow's a little special occasion, so I'm going to send Friday's resend in lieu of tomorrow. So you get two. People get two mailers this week. And next week, Tuesday, there is a special pen announcement too. So just so you know, I can't tell you what they are. I'm not allowed. But that is that. Big shipment of Lamy came in yesterday, including the leather pouches, which I love. The red leather is fantastic. Nobody else makes a really vibrant, and it's cardinal red too, which is funny. It's not what they call it, but I bought one last year, and like near the end, I said I have to have one, and ironically, Lisa got one too, and they're just nice. Napa leather. They're ribbed on them, and they're magnetic. 1, 2, and 3 pen cases. So we just got those in yesterday, and they're very nice. They have dividers so your pens don't touch. I wish they made a 4, but I'm asking too much. So, but they come in red, they come in black, in Napa leather. Then there's a folding case and a zip up case as well. So check those out. I just got those images up literally 10 minutes ago. They're nice cases. Let's see what else is cooking. I'm trying to think what else is new. Lamy 2000. If you like the Lamy 2000, we just got in the rollers, ballpoints, multi-pens, and the 0.5 mechanical pencil too. So, plain water. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. Hello, long time no see. How was everything cooking? Serpentine bronze treating you well? I just came across an email from you yesterday, so I was cleaning out. I looked at my inbox and I got like 600 emails in my inbox. I'm like, some of this stuff's got to go. I don't need order confirmations from stuff that's 4 months ago. But I saw your email about the serpentine back in August, something like that, which is coming back soon. Soon, I'm told. I don't know how soon. But I'm waiting for a response back from TWSBI on that because they just told me to send in your order. Normally, TWSBI doesn't do back orders, but I said, well, how am I supposed to get this stuff? I said, no, they don't send out emails. Hey, we got X, Y, and Z back in stock. So we'll see. Other TWSBI news while I'm thinking about it, the VAC Mini in smoke. And I forget if it was somebody here on Twitch or in YouTube was interested in the Vac Mini smoke. They've been officially discontinued. I tried to get some and they said no go. Discontinued, out of stock, which leaves only the Vac Mini Clear left in the lineup, which is interesting. So, but anyway, that's probably enough of the Twisby news. I have a piece of mail that came in today, and I'm a little nervous about it because it's ripped. So we're gonna see what's cooking. But I only have a couple of hobbies. There's only a couple things that I actually ever spend my money on. And Lisa gives me hell about it every once in a while. But I remind her I really don't have many hobbies. I don't have very many. I mean, I guess pens are expensive. They can be expensive. But most of my pens I get at wholesale or less or are for free, really. You buy a lot and then you sell things off and then whatever's left is, costs $0. So desk sets. Yeah, no. No, this is not pen related. This is not pen related. I guess I love my Corvette, but I really don't do anything with it. I don't race. I don't do any of that jazz. I just drive it like a regular car. So that really doesn't cost me much. The insurance is pretty cheap. I ride my bike. Smoking jackets. Yes. Yeah. Smoking jacket. That would be great, wouldn't it? I guess I do have a coat collection, but I use them. I wore a different one every day, like 2 weeks ago. Every day I change a coat. So just to appease Lisa. Bikes. I like bikes, right, Gary? And this is bicycle related. The only other thing that I do collect is very, very, it is very specific. And they're very hard to find. What am I talking about? So there's this rip in this package, which really makes me nervous because it's just a thin little thing. Lathes, yeah, no lathes. So this is bicycle related. Please be okay. Oh, it is. Good. Anything else in there? Nope, nothing else. I have Lisa calls it my wall of rogues, but I call it the wall of fame or what have you. This, boy, that light. I really got to do something with that light. I collect. Oh, this is fantastic. I collect original photographs of primarily Tour de France winners. The older, the better. Or photos from the Tour de France. And this particular one is from a series of original photographs taken of the 1934 Tour de France. This is Antonin Magnier, who won the Tour that year. He actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he won it twice. He won it in, my memory's going to fade me here, 31 and 34, I think. But this is the Tour winner. There was apparently a large grouping of original photographs from like one from each stage of the 34 Tour. I managed to acquire, this is my 5th one. Oh, hang on. Yes. just have you schedule the appointment just to make sure I'm here.
It's fascinating. How long have you been in this?
I've been doing this for. Yeah, just send me an email if you want to stop by my. I'm pretty flexible before noon, most days. Yeah, you go. I have more.
Well, I have some partners, but they don't take partners.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
They really?
Yeah.
There used to be games. No,
No, that's all right. Yeah, bring it. Just distribute it. You know, like I said, distribute it. I'll stop by tomorrow, whatever. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Yep. Okay. Sorry about that. I guess there was somebody at the optometrist, and they apparently have lots of pens. He wants to bring them. You remember Lisa like up the memorabilia when we visited the old shop? You've been in the world of cycling since the 70s. You don't have a single piece. Well, these are. I mean, this is the real deal. I mean, this is handwritten on there, Monnier. This is stage 17. So this is like near the end. I mean, what a fantastic photo this is. I just need to frame it and put it with the rest of the other 4 that I have. There were more, and unfortunately, we fell on hard times. I was not able to continue to buy them. There are no more, from my understanding, from this series. They were all sold out. I don't think there was. I don't think there were all. Were there 21 or 23 stages that year? I can't remember the exact number. But so anyway, that's my other hobby. Sorry, got sidetracked. But they look great. So I collect those. I do collect prints too, but when I can find them, these are really what really jazzed me up. So yeah, stage 17, Antonin Monnier. Yeah, and it was original press photograph. But I saw there was one left the other day, and I said I'm going to buy that for myself for Christmas. All right, what do we got cooking today? We got some snorkels to look at, huh? And we got these. So let's finish these snorkels up. But I try to keep everything before the 90s. I've got autographed. I got an autograph print of Eddie Merckx and Phil Liggett. It adorns my wall too. If you're familiar with cycling, you know who Phil Liggett is, and he's on my wall of fame as well. So all right. This one we had some problems with. We'll see if this holds up. If not, we're going to replace that. You remember who was racing? Phil Liggett or Eddie Merckx? Merckx probably, huh? Phil was, I don't think Phil raced professionally. I think he was an amateur, but I like Phil. Lisa and I used to watch the tour back in the early 2000s. And, in both. Okay. All right. Yeah. And we'd watch Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin. I just love those two. Phil's getting a little long in the tooth, I think, but oh, perfect. That's perfect. But yeah, I got Merckx. I've got an original photograph of Jacques Ockentiel, the first 5-time winner. That was not at the photograph's not at the tour, but you had a drink with Carlos Sastre. Wow, great bloke. Nice, that's great. I remember watching him ride too. You have a problem with restoring a pen? You just set it aside and take another stab at it at a later time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My philosophy is that these pens have lasted 60, 70, 80, 100 years. They can wait another day. Don't ever repair pens when you're emotionally charged, angry, sad, happy even. I mean, elated. I mean, happy is the best, I guess. But you want a real calm demeanor when you repair pens, because however you are is how it's going to come out in the repair. So if you can't get it to work, you set it aside. You come back into the next. I have a tray of pens over to my right, of pens that have not gone well, are almost done, but then like one thing has given me grief, and I just set them aside. And sometimes I get back to them, and sometimes I don't. Now that works for me because I have lots of pens to work on. Drunk as a skunk. Yeah, drunk as a skunk's probably a bad idea. Probably a bad idea. But I realize, so if you only have one pen and you're repairing, you can't, you can't just set it aside. I mean, you can. But that's how I do it. Fell apart when Bob rolled joint. Oh, I don't know that that's the case. In my opinion, Bob's tamed down a lot from where he was 20 years ago. With the Tour de France and all that stuff. I think he's really kind of taken over. If you listen a lot, he's really there kind of protecting Phil, because Phil makes some comments that are just like, come on, Phil. I mean, are you watching the same race we're watching? I mean, I hope Phil continues on for a long time, but we need Bob to kind of push the commentary in the right direction and keep things on an even keel. In my opinion, I think he does a decent job. There are there better ones? Yeah, I think the Eurosport commentators are really pretty good. Orla Chenoy is actually, for not really being a cyclist, is really, I think, pretty phenomenal. The Robbie McEwen bunch, those guys are all pretty good. And who's the other guy? McCracken, what's his name? It was a big night. Stewart O'Grady was also involved, drinking lovely Australian Shiraz. Oh, wow. Was Stewart O'Grady? Damn. So I like a lot of the Eurosport guys, but you can't, unless you pay big money, you don't get to hear those guys. Yeah, Bob has calmed down a lot. Yeah, Robbie's got the best sprint analysis. I mean, I remember watching Robbie going, you get Robbie to the front and no one's going to beat him unless Cavendish is in the race, and then it's Cav versus McEwen, and your guess is as good as mine. So I do want to put a little. I am looking for the best. I'll probably look for the Cav 35 win. That would be a good one to put on my wall. The Le Mans win at the World Championships in, gosh, what was it, 80, 88, 89? That's a classic. And I need a Pantani up there. I've got an Ulrich, the Campagnolo poster from when Ulrich won the Tour that they gave out. Who else do I have? I've got some guys from the 50s, some prints and stuff. So you're tearing down a Sheaffer balance that is now back burner when you found the feed is in two parts. Yeah. Yeah. So now we have done in the past if the feed sits together on, sometimes it sits on that little inner piece. I've had real good success with epoxy. So you might try that. Boy, this is a fine nib on this guy. You know who I hate for commentators is TJ Van Garderen and what's his name, the head analyst for Peacock, the NBC guy, the football guy. No place. There's no place whatsoever in cycling commentary, but that's what you get. The Tour de France, you get Peacock, and that's it. Yeah, what's his name? Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, TJ Van Garderen, that dude needs to go. He needs to stay and just manage his team or do whatever it is he does, and not do sports commentary because he's just. I don't know if any of you guys, Gary, or Glenn, if you saw that one year where TJ was basically saying that Pogacar should just let other people win during the tour. Get on a VPN and watch SBS coverage. Very good. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. And I'm not on. I don't subscribe to. I used to subscribe to Max, which would give me some other races, which are usually Eurosport guys. But I've been thinking about doing the VPN thing. But this seems like a lot of work considering But yeah, the Peacock guys are awful, and especially during like the Tour de France Femme, they give it as little effort as possible. Like you can clearly see who drew the short straw that year for okay, you got to do the TDFF, The inner piece is holding the two halves of the feed while the epoxy sets. Yeah. You ordered a feed that's hopefully close from pen tooling just in case. Okay. Yeah, if you get it lined up and if it sits together really well, and you put some epoxy on there, you almost can't see the repair. I know I've done that twice so far, just in the last couple of months, and it's worked out really. I couldn't even tell you what pens I did it on. But good luck. Boy, this is nice. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Nice nib on this one. Okay. Indy, hello, good afternoon. Just not sure I saw that spit out the right amount of. I'm sure this racing season will be interesting. Vingago going for the Giro win. I mean, they've all but like given him the trophy. You know, I mean, we're like a couple months away. But absence of everybody else, they're saying it's going to be an easy win. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to leave that out. Because we're going to seal those up. Now, the real question is whether or not I can find I bought extra frames because all of these photographs are the exact same size. I mean, they're all a little bit odd sized, but they all fit in kind of like a 4x6, I think is what it is. And I bought extra, and I thought I bought more than I needed because I was anticipating buying. I mean, these are not terribly expensive, but there were at the time, I think there were maybe, I could have dropped several $100s to buy all of them, and I didn't. But we'll see. Oh, this is nice. This weight on this is fantastic. He rode with Lamond when he was a junior after finishing a super week stage. I believe he won the juniors, then placed in the senior 1-2 crit. He was headed back to hotel and we rode together for a bit. Didn't know he was destined for fame at the time. He was just a fast kid in the pack. Wow. Cool. Lamond's the man. I ride a Lamond. It's as close as I'm going to get. Well, that's nice. It's going to be interesting as there have been a number of trades. We have the Tour Down Under in a couple weeks. Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's the first race of the season. Also, the Cadell Evans race. You're doing the 65-kilometer ride race. Yeah, that's right. You were saying that. Yeah, Tour Down Under. You know, the only thing I don't like, I have one beef, and Gary, tell me if you side with me on this one. I love watching it. But the one thing I can't stand about the Tour Down Under is the constant promotion. Like everything has a sponsor, and it's what is it? They've got a sponsor for like every sprint. So it's not just sprint points. It's the Tour Down Under, whoever the sponsor is, Cardinal Penn's Sprint, and then, the King of the Mountains has got a sponsor, and it's like, it takes forever to say a sentence because it's the Tour Down Under, and because there's a sponsor for the Tour Down Under, right? And then the sprint's the one that kills me. It just like, do we have to sponsor that? Can we just put it on the screen and not read it? It drives me nuts. End of rant. Well, that's nice. That's gonna be a nice pen for somebody. Yeah, what is it? What is that? Who does the sprint? It's Santos. The Santos Tour Down Under, and then they gotta. So every time they gotta talk about it, it's the Santos Tour Down Under. It's not just the Tour Down Under. It's the Santos Tour Down Under, and whatever the name of the sprint sponsor is. It'd be great if it was Cardinal Pens, but it's annoying from the listener standpoint. Yes, it is costly to put on. You'll tell Mr. O'Grady I'll sponsor a sprint? Yeah, I don't think I have that kind of money. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's just, I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Or am I just spinning my wheels here? Yeah, you get it. Yeah, okay, good. Like, there is no question what race you're watching when you're watching that race. Like the European races, you might not know. You can watch for 2 hours. You go, what race am I watching? Nice find him on this one too. A little bit of tooth to it, which is really kind of nice. Well, thankfully, I think what Santos just last year re-upped for another 5 or 10 years or something like that. Is it easy to replace the lever on a balance? Um, no, no, it's not. Um, and I laugh only because I had one for a long time that I needed to change, and it was easier for me just to replace the barrel. Some of them are pinned. It's not as easy as on, like, say, an Esterbrook or anything else that's got like a regular C lever, C pin. Did not get this one in all the way. There we go. I just want to set. I've got two Sheaffer boxes over here that are occupying my life. There's the blue one. Oh, no, this is the touchdown. Santos is the biggest Adelaide-based company. Yeah. My understanding is they put on a nice race. I mean, for at least for the way it's organized, it's all centrally located. Everybody stays like in the same area, and they always go back to the same hotel every night, and the racers love that. Good afternoon, Hans. The photo you got in the mail is very neat. I have little interest in cycling, and even I wouldn't mind having something like that to display. Yeah, they're pretty cool. What I like about them is I like the stuff that's in the background. The way people are dressed. I mean, there's people on top of a mountain in the 1940s or 50s, and they're in like a suit, full suit and tie, and I mean, you can just see it. It's in the cars. I have some with like really, really funky European cars. So while I don't normally do prints, I have a couple that are just, I have, nice 8x10 prints of originals. So this place I get them from, they're a big collector, and they make some of them into prints because they have the originals. So why they didn't keep these 1934 ones is beyond me, but I've got a great one of Nicholas Franz from, gosh, what year is it? I forget what year it is. I mean, and you could just see the pain on the guy's face, and he's riding in the snow in the Alps. I mean, it's just awesome. Did you sell your car? The only vintage photo you have on display is one of Mr. Sheaffer. I suppose it should think about photography as a collection. Some people sell things they shouldn't. That's when you need to buy. They have some good cycling photos at times available on Invaluable. I'm not familiar with that. Check that out. It's sold. Okay. You could have held off for another $100 and you'd be messing with it for another. Yeah, there's no sense in that. You got someone with cash in hand, just make it go away. Good for you. Now you can move on with life. That's really fantastic. I mean, was that 2 hours? I mean, yeah, I know you spent a lot of time getting your ad ready, and I know you had most of it ready a few weeks ago, but that's just really fantastic. Invaluables and auctions. I'm gonna check that out. At least they're gonna hate you. 50 minutes from the time you posted it. Okay, they're gonna pick it up sometime this afternoon. Yeah, great. I hate selling cars. They also have desk sets. Oh, all right. Invaluable auction site. I shall look later. You met at the bank's parking lot so you could deposit the money immediately? That's nice. Last time I sold a car, I sold our Traverse. There was nothing wrong with it, which was good. It was always good to sell a car when there's nothing wrong with it. And I sold it to a young couple, and the husband was a mechanic. And so he was like, "Yeah, this is great, man." They gave me cash. I mean, and we got, I forget what we got, 3,000-4,000 or something for it. You might find some smoking jackets. But yeah, it was great. I mean, it was about as good as you could get. When the guy's a mechanic and then he knows he's not going to BS you. Always check invaluable and live auctioneers. Often the same auction houses list them both, and sometimes one has a lower buyer's premium. Wow. Use them as search engines and then bid directly with the auction houses. You will pay fewer fees. Okay. Well, the funny thing is auction zip. Okay. Um, I had just put up all my prints and my photographs like before Christmas, and I thought, well, and I got them all nice and lined up, and they're all nice and even. And then I go and I buy one more of these stinking things. I'm like, well, now it's the whole wall. I need to buy more because now my wall is not, the wall of fame is not straight. I didn't lay it out with plans of getting another one. I think, let's see. I'm going to spin these out first. Having to buy more is a good problem to have. Yeah, says you. There is who is there's a famous cycling photographer, and his name escapes me for some reason right now. Like he was the guy in the 80s and 90s, and he's got a site where he sells his prints. So I mean, not originals, but prints from the actual photographer is actually pretty close. So he's got a lot of the the Pantanis and Ulrich and all those guys from that era. And we got to clean these caps. I have a note somewhere that reminds me to do that. Graham Watson. Yeah. Thank you. That's him. I was thinking it begins with a G. I've got it saved on my phone. You're a librarian who likes to cycle. Yeah, Graham Watson's fantastic. His composition is amazing. And the problem with Graham Watson, there's only one problem with Graham Watson. It's not it's which photograph to buy. Nothing for you is the same as silver, gelatin, black and white print. Yeah. And most of my stuff is black and white, so the color stuff is going to be a little bit out of. It'll look a little different. Graham's a New Zealander. Like he shot everybody. If somebody went by on two wheels, photograph. Like he's got people I don't even know. Like it's like a domestique to a domestique or something, and hey, let's take a photograph. He's going back for a beat on. Hey, Spicy. I'm doing fine. All right. It took me almost a year to get all my photographs up, so I don't want to make that mistake again. I guess I decided we're not going anywhere, so I might as well beautify the place. Could you remind me of the photographer of the photo you just got in the mail? Well, the name of the photographer is unknown, but I got it from the Horton collection, which I believe is just HortonCollection.com. Yeah, if you look up Horton, Horton, HortonCollection.com. They got a lot of great stuff. They even have original Tour de France lions, which I kind of sort of totally want, but what the hell am I going to do with that? You know, and it's like I could buy a nice Lucky Curve for the price of one of those things. You say go for it, but you really shouldn't listen. Yeah. They also have like original race worn jerseys and things. I mean, you know, if you really wanted to deck out a cycling room, man, and you got about 15,000-20,000 to spend, you could really do it something nice. You could do it for less than that, but I mean, they've got. Hopefully, they have Phil Anderson picked. I don't know if they do or not. Check him out. They got some great stuff. They got an interesting Facebook page too. So sometimes he'll show stuff that he no longer has for sale. So sometimes those 1934 Tour de France pictures will show up on his Facebook page. I go, hey, I got that one. And he does sales every once in a while too. So that's how I got my signed Eddie Merckx and Phil Liggett posters. Well, lithographs, I guess they're considered. Because they were like 30% off or something. In the grand scheme of things, 15,000 would be a bargain to get a room and neat stuff. Yeah, and you know, cycling stuff just doesn't come around very often. Really good stuff, anyway. The guy who does the Lucas Cycling blog. He has every once in a while he'll sell original race worn signed jerseys. Maybe not race worn, but signed jerseys. You know, modern guys, Pogacar and Vingegaard and. But they'll be like the yellow jersey or the green jersey or the polka dot jersey. You know, so they'll be the leaders' jerseys. Because he collects those. Every once in a while he sells them off, and they never sell them at the, when you got money. Or when you're able to buy them, that's always, Okay, so I put way too much on that one. I got extra left on here, so. Yeah, you never have the money when the good stuff is offered. Yeah, that's how it is, man. Same with pens. That's why I would argue collecting modern pens is so much easier than vintage. You want a custom 823? You don't have the money? Wait till next month. You know. Yeah, it's much easier. You don't have the fun of a. It's much easier, but you don't have the fun of a 10-year hunt to find something. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? And sometimes it's not necessarily a 10-year hunt as much as it is a 10-year hunt to find it at the right price, right? I mean, because in some cases, money will just, if you got money, you can get pretty much whatever you want. But find that oversized rose glow in perfect color, yeah, that could take a while at a good price. Yeah. Well, that didn't work out. Too much on there. I dropped a little bit on my cloth there. This stuff is kind of like gold, so I really don't like to waste it. I'll come back to that one. It's like to get all the stuff off. You're ducking out early tonight, Juicy? Wow, it's like, holy cow, we're close to 5 o'clock already. Have a good night. You're gonna miss all the good stuff. Oh. Okay. Let's do some cap action here. Copy action first. Don't know how dirty these are, but we're going to find out. I can't believe tomorrow's Thursday already. My least favorite day of the week. Actually, it'll be the first Thursday in 3 weeks that we've actually had to get up early. So this guy's this Goldfill one, really a winner. This one was in the box, so I expect this one to be perfectly clean. So now the question is, is there enough adhesive on this sticker? I wonder if we couldn't just put a little bit. Just a little tab of rosin sealant on there, and that's actually probably going to hold up okay. It's got a little rip there, but if you're careful. It'll be all right. So that one goes in here. A nice touchdown set. That one goes in there. Am I doing any of the Tour de Zwift? I swore I'd avoided this year. You can't stay away. Yeah, I did. I did the C ride on Monday. Tonight I'll do the B, and I'll get the A ride done. I usually do the A rides on the weekends or Saturday or something. I like to do them. I'm glad they're doing now the rides on demand, because what I didn't like doing was feeling rushed, getting home and having to eat real quick and, try to, and they're only they're on, the, if it's on the hour, well, guess what? It's either 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And I just don't like feeling rushed trying to get, well, I gotta get home. I gotta get organized. I gotta, so I do most of them on demand now. If it just so happens to be, 5 minutes before a group ride, I'll do the group ride, but other words, I'll do them solo. And I'm going to go for the ultimate challenge and do all, 18 stages. That shouldn't be too hard. Although, I see the Tour of Fire and Ice is, is on the agenda this year. So, I don't know if you've done that route. One of my goals for this year was going to be to get the badge for climbing the Alpe d'Huez, the Alpe d'Huez 25 times. I've got 15 more to go. 10 more to go? 15 more. I can't remember. There's either 10 or 15 more to go. Not crazy about it, but that's one way to do it. At least get one in January. It's a hard climb. It takes, I could use to lose 50 pounds. So it takes me hour 20 to get up the mountain. These guys who do it sub 60, Is not happening. Not for this guy. I think my best time is an hour 20. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I mean, I used to be terrified of it. Now it's just like, get your teeth and get on with the job at hand. Which is kind of fun that you can look at it that way. But I'm also doing trainer difficulty. I only have it at 50%. Which means if I set it at 100, I can climb Alp in the big ring at 50%. So I probably could do it in the little ring at 100. I'm thinking about bumping that number up at some point this year. I might do a 75%. Just to see what it's like. But I also don't think it really matters all that much. Watts are watts. Calories burned are calories burned, and I'm not trying to impress anybody. Mileage is the same. Time spent on the bike is the same. But thanks for the reminder, because I always do, every time that comes around, I do my stages, and then I do a little matrix with, ABC routes, the kilometers and the meters of elevation for each one. And then I have a little board that I put on next to my bike, and then I can cross it off and you can see the progress. I haven't done it yet. Because ironically, I have almost no paper at home. And it's perfect for an A5 sheet. You never did the Tour of Fire and Ice? I really avoid the bumpiest routes. I love the steady state rides most of my time is on it. Yeah. One thing I really like about the Tour de Zwift over the Tour of Watopia is the fact that you don't get the double experience points. I'm at level 100 now, so experience points at least until they upgrade, which apparently is supposed to be pretty soon. They raised the level limit. Experience points are useless. They don't do me any good. I guess when I fill the bar up, I get 50,000 drops. But with the Tour of Watopia, I feel like I have to continually do those courses after I check one off, just to get the double experience points. But with the Tour de Zwift, you don't get that. So you just you ride the course and boom, you're done. And then it helps fill out the week, because I'll do if I ride 6 days, I'll do the three stages of the tour. I'll do the ride of the week and the climb of the week. And then, I got something maybe I'll do another one. Maybe I'll do a stage of the tour with a group or something, but. I'm going to soak this one. Yeah, Tour of Fire Ice is if you've not done the Alp, it's longer than what is it? The most direct route, which For the life of me, I can't remember right now. The most direct route up the Alp. But you get a better warm up, I think. Especially if you treat it like a warm up. You skipped the tour of Watopia this year, yeah. I think I hit level 100 at the tour of Watopia, so it kind of worked out, but it'll be fun to see what they do if they do level increases, what they're going to do. And it's funny because they seem to think that people need to have rewards for each level, and I don't think that's the case. I mean, I don't care if I get a new pair of socks or a new jersey at level 101. I don't care. I'm not going to wear it. They all look goofy, except for, you know, a couple of them. Don't care. Just allow me to. You never did the Alp, probably the only one Zifting that hasn't. I mean, it's not fun. If you've never done it, I will tell you this. If you've never done it, the first 3 or 4 turns are the worst. They're the steepest. You do the turn, and then you're climbing, and you get to, there's an overhang. That's the worst. You get past that, it kind of levels out a little bit. It's only 8%, but after that, but it's pretty steep the first 2 or 3 corners, and then it's not so bad. Then you just need to settle down and try to figure it out. I will say it's probably easier than it's easier than the my brain is not working, than Ventop. Mont Ventoux. Ventoux is just really monotonous. I've done it twice. I won't say I won't ever do it again because they like to use it for tours and special events occasionally. Yeah, the goofy socks and the other. I mean, I ride. There's like only a couple. I'm you doing the level 100 jersey, and before that I had the Oktoberfest jersey, so I use that. The whole Oktoberfest kit was great because they didn't do the Oktoberfest this last year. But now I've got the level 100, so I wear that. I had the fire socks, and then now I've got the confetti socks. Because that's just fun to give. You did Ventop on one of the tours? Yeah. I think I know one of the recent ones. I remember that. Good afternoon, Jason. You're a 20 stream streak. Look at that. Today is apparently the cycling pen podcast. Pen stream. I wish Zwift would do. Don't tell your employer. I wish Zwift would allow you to stack certain things because, like I'm working on the challenge for the factory tour, and it's the reward is the Aero socks. Well, yeah, that would be really super cool. But I much prefer my confetti socks. And if y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and I'm betting like 98% of you have no clue what I'm talking about. Zwift is an online platform for virtual cycling. It's a lot of fun. I remember the days of CompuTrainer was a big deal, and before CompuTrainer, the Aero socks are a hoot. Yeah. I might throw this cap in the ultrasonic. It looks good. I usually inspect these for cracks, but there's like so much gunk going on here. But they need a jersey or something that does some of that stuff, so you're not always just changing your socks. I like the lightning socks. You used to go and gather at local shop for CompuTrainer rides? That's cool. Yeah, my ex about lost her what when she found out I bought a CompuTrainer, because I bought a CompuTrainer, which meant I had to buy a laptop because I didn't have a computer. It was it was expensive, man. It was something else. But it was cool because when I did races 20 years ago, you could go take your GPS, you could drive the route, and then input your course into CompuTrainer, and you could race the route. I mean, you could train on the route without having to be outside. It was great. Loved it. Yeah, I want to say I spent $4,000 back in 2000. Like two for the CompuTrainer, and then I had to buy a laptop and some other crap, and that was $2,000. So yeah, it was like, I want to say it was $4,000. But I had at the time, I was doing graduate school, and I got student loans, so I was like, okay, bought my books. Totally worth it, because before that I had a performance wheel-on trainer. I mean, everything was wheel-on back then. And I had a coach, and the coach would send me my workout. He'd send me 3 weeks worth of workouts, and I'd get it. It would be like, okay, so here's 30 minutes warm up, 30 minutes cool down, and then like on some weeks it'd be like 5 hours, a 5 to 6 hour ride on a wheel-on mag trainer, no TV, no CompuTrainer, and it was like, I don't know how I did it. I spent, actually what I did is I spent most of my time doing all my studying on the bike. I had a music stand, good old Manhattan M48, Manhattan, and I read all my books. Yeah, CompuTrainer sounds like the future. It has to be worth the price. It was cool. It was cool. I like to do the random. You could create random courses. You could set the distance, and then you could set, yeah, 5 hours does equal a sore butt. That's for sure. especially back then. I mean, but you could set the course length, and then you could set the minimum and maximum elevation gain. And so, if you didn't want to, because if you did, it would do some crazy things if you didn't set those variables. I mean, you could turn the corner and it might be 25% grade. That would be nuts. You could draw out the course if you wanted to. Others, you just hit random, and then it would have little segments add up. And you want to do 20 miles today? You just do, in a couple of minutes, you got a 20-mile course with who knows how much elevation. It was totally the future. It was the way to go, but they didn't really keep up. And they went out of business. Off to gym class. All right, Gary. Take care. I ended up actually giving the CompuTrainer away. I should have kept the guy's information, but he was going to try to make it work with Zwift. I thought that was that was creative. Yeah, Kicker's a bargain compared to the days of the early versions. Yeah, I mean, and it's just so much better. Someone makes a Wi-Fi module for the CompuTrainer? Oh my God. I just hated those things though. Those wheel-on trainers. Oh, they're awful. You get all set up. You get it all because you got to calibrate it every time. Bump up your tires. Get it calibrated. Get all your gear together, and then you make your course. Get your tunes ready or whatever you're doing, your podcast or whatever book you're going to read or whatever you're doing. And then you get on and you get a flat. Urgh. Hated that. And then you got to take it off, patch it or replace it. I mean, it was just... RGT had a feature for subscribers that let you plug in your local route and ride it. The landscape modeling was a hoot. Interesting. Yeah, but for some people that would be a cool thing. I'd love to ride outside, but I like living and breathing on this planet, so I don't care to get into an accident. It's just so convenient to ride indoors. Direct drive was a game changer. Yeah. It sure was. I couldn't believe how cool that was when I bought it. And quiet. Quiet. You get a wheel on trailer and zzzz, all day long, even if you're in the basement. Next door neighbor can hear you. I mean, it's not completely quiet. Quiet. You can, you got fans going on. I got a dehumidifier and all that other jazz going on. But you getting to that point, starting to fear going outside after a lifetime of cycling? Yeah. I don't know. It's not worth it to me. I need to live further out in the country or something. I mean, for me, it's not like I don't live too far from good roads, but there's a lot of junk miles for me. To get where, it's not stop signs and traffic. If you only want to go for an hour ride, but you've got 15 minutes of junk to get where you can ride, I mean, that's a half an hour you can ride, and then you got to turn around and go back. And sometimes you don't know, right? I mean, you get loaded for Barry. I'm going to do 3 hours today. I'd get both water bottles. You get the third one in your back pocket. Sometimes I take a fourth. I take a collapsible one. And then you get out 10 minutes out and you're like, man, it's not happening today. Usually if you're riding indoors, you just like, if it's not happening, you get up and get off and you're done. Yeah, I've been hit a couple times and too many other close calls. And I'm not getting any younger, so. Which is a shame because they've got perfectly good Campagnola 12 speed sitting on my good bike. The really beautiful set of Campy Neutrons. That's how it is for you. South suburban Milwaukee, and the only decent route is south. Yeah. Oh, you bumped up against a lake? Yeah. Routes are limited. I hear you. It's not. This is not Milwaukee, but the Fox Valley is really, really exploded. And it's not always safe to be riding around here. I got to go north is where I have to go. North, or I got to go south, southwest towards Nina Menasha. But to get that route, you got to go down like one of the busiest roads. You got to cross. You got to get near a Highway 41 off ramp. It's no good. I'll do errands on my little hybrid, but that's about it. Milwaukee, I can't even imagine. We got a nice, actually, there's a nice, I really got to do it. I might do it next year. We'll see. There's literally a really very nice bike path. I guess it's a multi-use path. So that has its own inherent problems. That basically comes right up to the shop here. It's really a nice long path. I haven't done it yet. It's about 4.5 miles from my house, so that's a really good, decent ride. Oh yeah, we got to look at this. There's that 75 section. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's throw this one in there. You don't get into that busy road stuff. Cars on your side all the time. Some guys do those roads religiously. Yeah, I mean, I've had people throw soda cups at me, cans at me. I mean, it's too close, yelling. Yeah. Half tempted just to take up gravel and there's not a lot of that kind of stuff around here. Oh, that air cap came right out. This is a great pattern. I love this gray with red veining. I think it's one of the prettiest materials they ever came out with. Need to run, Hans. All right. Good luck with the pens. Have a great night. Yeah, you too. Go get rid of your car. Well, we got a crack in the back of the cap. Better go get your Zwift right in so you have something to log in your Hobonichi. There you go. There you go. Good luck. Nice patina on this nib. I must have left another nib in there. There it is. All right, this guy we got apart yesterday. It's got all this nasty stuff on it. It's fibrous. But it's sticking inside the fin, so you kind of have to brush at it and pull it out. Is the brush getting in any? Yeah, a little bit. If you remember it from yesterday, it's better. I got some in the channel. But it's rubbery. Rapido-Ease would probably be helpful. I don't have any. Believe it or not. This is working though. This the right size. It's not the most stimulating thing you're going to watch all day, that's for sure. Question is are we going to be able to get this to blow through? But anything is an improvement over where it was. That seems to be okay. In here, it's a mess. It's a purpley, bluey mess. I would probably be better off. I'd be quicker and faster to just to replace this section. The distributor I used to get repeatedly from used to be the same distributor that um, carried Pelican, so I could tack it onto my Pelican order. But now it's not even, it's not, you know, I don't think I'd be ordering would be repeatedly, so it's really not enough to warrant, justify the order. We can try though. It's getting there. Some big chunks out. We can try putting it in the Dr. G's. And Dr. G's has done really well with iron gall and India inks. Now that this is mostly clean, maybe it will. Maybe it will dissolve the rest. But I got a lot of, you can see all the little bits there that I did get out. Set that aside. I'm going to spin out these caps real quick. Sure is an interesting challenger. Dark blue marble. I bet the nib's going to be awesome.
Are we just waiting for a contract from IT? Or do we have a contract?
We don't have a contract yet.
We're waiting for the contract.
Sorry about that. Phone call. Not sure what's going on. All right, those guys are done. I have a vendor I've been trying to get a hold of for a software vendor for a couple of weeks. And apparently, like I've been ready to get these people cooking, and they're not interested in taking my money. Oh, excuse me. But apparently now they are. Are there any good resources for learning, practicing nib work beyond the basics? Well, good question. A really good resource, if you can swing it, is anytime Richard Bender gives a nib smoothing workshop. You start there. And he does them at some shows. You can audit the class, or you can pay the money for the class. It's not terribly expensive. I don't know what he charges for it. It's probably not more than $50. If you see that he's doing a class, because he doesn't go to many shows anymore, buy yourself a seat and start there. That'll get you halfway. That'll get you to like 50% of your situations with nibs that aren't aren't writing properly. And the rest of it is learning how to, and maybe those are basics, but everybody's basic is a different level. Everybody's at a different level, right? Beyond that, you're talking how to straighten a nib by bending it. And if it's bent, I mean, it's pretty basic when you think about it. If it's bent this way, you got to bend here to bend it up. I mean, practice on steel nibs. Buy a bunch of the cheapest steel nibs you can get and bend them, and then try to straighten them. Get yourself one of these guys, so you don't have to be constantly holding a loop up to your face. And practice straightening out steel nibs, and get like 20 of them, and take them and just jam them on the table and see if you can get them straight again. And it takes a lot of practice. And then what I use, and keep in mind, I don't offer my services really. I mean, I'll straighten nibs for my own edification, I guess. I like these a lot. I forget what these are called, but they're spherical pliers. I use those. And then I use those for most everything. And then I have both sizes of these. These are pen tooling nib pliers that were designed by Linda Kennedy and Richard Binder. So it's RB, LK. And then there's two sizes. There's a narrow size and then there's a broad size. And this metal is fairly thin, but it's strong enough that you can use these if it's on the feed. Most cases you want it off the feed. But you can use these on the feed, or you can kind of get in between. You can do what you need to do. They have been handy. They're not cheap. I want to say the set of two of them is maybe $80. But if you fix one nib, you broke even. The big one is. Yeah, this is the big one. There's the big one. It's pretty big. So, and those are primarily the only, and I use these a lot. The only three pliers that I use for nib work. Other people might use more, but they generally use kind of the same. Same couple of them. But you definitely need these guys. And these have replaceable optics in the front. I think these are Bausch and Lomb. And if you can get multiple, usually they come with multiple optics, so like 10x or 20x or whatever. I use a 10x. I think it's what I use. But if you can get like a backup, because they'll get dirty, they'll get scratched, because you're probably not putting them back in the bag all the time. And getting a second lens is better than buying a second pair. You received a digital microscope for Christmas. It's been enlightening. Yeah, I mean, I had one too, and I found out I didn't use it very much. In fact, I sold it. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know. You can usually get what you need from a 10x loop. A Palomo or any of the ones that I sell are good enough, Unless you want to take pictures of your nibs, because the other thing is if you've got the digital microscope, it's one thing to look at it here, but then you got to move it, right? You got to take it out from under the microscope to work on it. Where with the headgear, you can look at it and work on it at the same time. It's just faster. Like I say, I can't remember what I even did with mine. I don't know. Maybe I probably took it to a pen show and put it on the table and sold it. I don't remember. But I know I bought one because Jim Rouse used to have one at the Franklin Christoph table, and I talked to him about it. And that's what he used to use. And I think Audrey still uses one. I don't remember. But it was neat, but it wasn't for me. I think I've actually got two sets of headgear. I got a second set of Bausch and Lomb headgear somewhere. Yeah, I wonder where that is. Not entirely sure why I have two, but I'm just cleaning these off. Let's see if we can get that other balance open. Been soaking now for a while. But the problem with nib work is a lot of it is dealing with the nib that's, at least on the vintage side, that's not straight. Tines aren't straight. It was bent. It was dropped. Somebody used too much pressure. Held it the wrong way. I mean, who knows? And so you got to fix that issue first. I think too many people move right to the smoothing part without straightening the nib. I mean, and yeah, I guess you can kind of do that, but the nib is still not straight. You know, if it's not perfectly aligned, if it's, you know, slightly up, you can smooth it, but the minute, you know, that nib goes back into place, it's going to be off. So you got to get the tine straight to begin with. And then it's practice, 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 practice. Can't forget we got that in there. Let's take a look at this balance here that's been soaking for an hour here. Oftentimes you'll find these, they'll be sealed. A lot of soaking is necessary. Is usually easier than dealing with heat. But if you get a little water in there, a little soaking, it might come out with the heat. So I can see some adhesive. I think soaking's going to be the way to go here. I don't think this heat's going to do much. It's too bad. This is the real pretty one too. This is the one that has the multiple particles, smaller particles. I'm going to see if I can kind of score this joint here. Looks like some kind of silicone adhesive, actually. Getting some of it to come off, which is good. All right. Let's see if this did anything. Interestingly enough, I can now see it actually, like it bubbled up. On the feed. Well, you look at it under a loop and it's really telling. Might have to do alternating baths in the ultrasonic and the Dr. G's. I wonder if somebody didn't use super chrome or something like that. Now, I'm gonna drop those in the ultrasonic. Those can soak. And maybe tomorrow we'll get that other one open. We could sack these up tomorrow. I think I'm going to end this a little bit early. I got to deal with a couple of things here. So we got those 4 that are cooking along pretty well. We'll be able to sack those up early tomorrow. Pick up a couple more. Couple other pens to do. Looking back over at my tray, I got some Vax, I think. And a Sheaffer Imperial that would be nice to get done. So we'll get cooking on those tomorrow. Sorry for the distractions today, but that's life here at the shop, I guess. And again, if you're a new pen launch tomorrow, and if you're not signed up for our newsletter, go to our website, cardinalpens.com, and scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you can sign up right there, and then you'll get the notice tomorrow when the pen launches. So I got to take care of that because I just saw an email come in regarding that. So we're going to do that, and I'm half a dozen other things, and people are calling me, so I can't concentrate on pen repairs anymore today. So thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow, all right? Take care, everyone. Thanks.